What's going on, guys? June with the Sushi Man here, and today I'll be showing you how to make a caterpillar roll. Now this roll might seem intimidating, but it's actually pretty easy once you know the correct steps. It's a really popular roll, especially here in the States, and it's a fun one to plate and decorate since you can make it look all fancy, which will be sure to impress your friends, family, coworkers, boss, whoever you're making this for. And if you enjoy videos like this and want to learn more about making sushi, be sure to check out my book, How to Make Sushi at Home, a fundamental guide for beginners and beyond. It's basically all my sushi knowledge simplified into an easy-to-read step-by-step guidebook with tons of full-color images. And it's actually available now, so be sure to check out the links in the description below if you're interested. Alright, now let's get right into it. So just a heads up, I wanted to keep this video pretty straight to the point and show you how to actually roll the caterpillar roll. So rather than going through all the prep steps of cutting the vegetables in this video, I'll be linking you to my other videos which goes over those processes in more detail. Alright, now first let's really quickly go over the supplies. We have our cutting board, a sharp knife, I like to use my sujihiki, bowl of water or tezu, a clean damp kitchen towel, and a makisu or bamboo rolling mat. And this makisu has been wrapped in plastic already, which you can check out how in the beginning part of my how to roll sushi video, which I'll put a link up here in the corner. Okay, now let's go over the ingredients we need. Now just a quick note, I've seen the caterpillar roll made differently depending on the restaurant, but these are the typical ingredients and how I like to make mine. First, we'll need some sushi rice, and you can check out my sushi rice video if you haven't already. We'll also need some half sheets of nori, which is dry seaweed. Next, we have some cucumber. This is English cucumber that's already cut to put inside the roll, and I have a video on that which you can check out with the link in the corner or the description below. Then we have our main ingredient, which is the unagi or freshwater eel. It usually comes frozen and in a package similar to this. Lastly, we have the avocado that will be layered on top, and there's a specific way to cut this, which you guessed it, I have another video for, so be sure to check that out, and this can be done beforehand or later on after we've made the roll. Now toppings are optional and up to your personal taste, but usually I like to use some toasted sesame seeds, maybe some tobiko or masago, and some ikura for decoration. But you can really use whatever you have. Cucumber, carrots, or some kaiware daikon can come in handy as well. And don't forget the unagi sauce, also known as unagi no tare, which is very similar to teriyaki sauce. You can probably find some at your local Asian store or look up a recipe online. I actually make my own, which I'll be making a video on in the near future. Alright, now let's move on to prepping the unagi. So typically, unagi comes already cooked and frozen, and the best way to defrost this is to leave it in the fridge overnight. After it's fully defrosted, just cut open the package and lay it on your cutting board. From here, I actually like to wipe off some of the excess sauce using a paper towel. I just find it to be too saucy, especially because we'll be drizzling some unagi sauce over the roll when we're done, but it's up to your preference. So first, we'll cut it the long way straight down this center line. Now take one side, and from here we can cut it a couple different ways. One way is to cut it the same length as a sheet of nori, like this. And then take this piece and cut it down into long strips about a ½ inch wide. You should probably get about 3 strips. Man, I knew I should have sharpened my knife. Hopefully you're not struggling as much as I am here. So cutting it this way makes the rolling process a little easier since the unagi is one long even piece. But if you plan to use the unagi to make nigiri, then I recommend the second method, which I'll show you with this other piece. When cutting unagi for nigiri, we cut it at an angle and diagonally like this. So if we were to cut this fillet using the first method, then we can't really use it for nigiri anymore, or at least not much of it. Now there's nothing wrong with that if you're planning on making a bunch of rolls. But if you want to use this same unagi for nigiri as well, then the second method makes more sense. So first, lay the fillet down on our cutting board, and I'm right-handed, so I like to tilt it a bit this way, which makes it easier to cut. Starting from the head end, which is this wider end, place the blade diagonally on top of the unagi. And we also want to open or lay the blade down at about a 45-degree angle. Now carefully hold the unagi with your other fingers and cut off about an inch, just from this corner. Next, move your knife up about an inch or so and repeat the cut. And when you do this, you want to start towards the bottom of your blade and use one continuous motion. See, now you have a piece that can be used either for nigiri or rolls. So just keep doing the same thing until you have 2 to 3 pieces, depending on how big your cuts are. In my case, I'll line up 3 of these across the roll, or use 2 in this end piece here. But again, this is a great way to utilize one unagi for multiple purposes. Alright, next we're going to broil this. And even though it comes pre-cooked, and yes, you can eat it just like this, I highly recommend taking this extra step. It's like Spam. Yeah, it's fully cooked straight out of the can, but who eats it like that? Just a quick 5 minutes in a broiler will make your unagi taste so much better, because nobody wants cold and chewy unagi. So that's what we'll do here. Pop it in the oven and broil for about 5 to 6 minutes on high. It's already cooked, so we really just want to heat it back up. Then let it cool for just a bit until it's ready to handle. Sweet, now we're ready to get rolling. Now if you watch my how to roll sushi video, these next steps will pretty much be identical to rolling the inside out roll. I'll go over it again here, but if you want, you could check out that original video with the link in the corner or description down below. Alright, so first, make sure the makisu is laid down so that the sticks run horizontally. Then lay the nori on top with the rough side facing up. And again, these are half sheets. Next, lightly dampen both hands and grab some sushi rice, about the size of an apple. Then spread it nice and evenly across the nori. You want to make sure you get all the way to the corners and edges here. After that, we'll flip the rice and nori over so that the nori is now on top. Now lay the cucumber down all the way across the middle, and try to keep it from sticking out of the ends. Then put in the unagi strip or pieces, depending on how you cut them. From here, we start rolling by wrapping the nori and rice around the ingredients in the middle. The makisu will help guide and shape the roll as we go along. Again, watch the how to roll sushi video for more detailed instructions. Lastly, to clean up the ends a bit, place the makisu so that the edge aligns with the end of the roll, and then gently press the rice in. Do this for both sides. And voila, you basically have yourself an unakyu, or unagi and cucumber roll. But to make it into a caterpillar roll, we'll have to layer the thin sliced avocado on top. And as I mentioned before, I have a video that goes over how to cut avocados for sushi. So if you haven't watched that yet, now is the time. The caterpillar part is towards the later half of the video, so you can just skip to that point and then come back here. For me, in this wonderful digital world, it's a simple slam of the avocado, and boom, magically it's all cut up. Now we're going to put these avocado slices on top of the roll. We do this by very carefully sliding our knife under the avocado and transferring it onto the roll. Take extra caution when pulling the knife out and make sure your other fingers aren't in the way. And sometimes a piece may get stuck like this, but just try your best to keep it in place. Okay, from here, we take a sheet of plastic and lay it on top of our roll. Make sure the plastic's big enough so there's about 4 to 5 inches of extra plastic on both the top and bottom. You'll see why here in a sec. Now use the makisu to gently apply pressure from all sides. This helps the avocado stay and wrap around the roll. If the plastic moved when taking the makisu off, make sure to place it back so that it's covering all sides of the roll like this. This makes it easier to cut. And that's what we're going to do now. So cutting this roll is pretty much the same as how we cut any other inside out roll. We're going to cut it into 8 pieces, but the trick here is to leave the plastic on. Now make sure that your knife is clean, and it also helps to wet it a bit. First, we're going to cut it in half straight down the middle. And you want to make sure you don't cut through the extra plastic that we have on top. Now cut each half into halves again. And you might get some avocado stuck on your blade as you're cutting. If so, just make sure you clean it and wet it again as needed. Next, we cut these quarters into half again, which will total 8 pieces. Again, make sure you're not cutting that extra plastic and this top part is still intact. If you need, use the makisu to fix its shape again, but don't press too hard where the avocado gets smashed. After that, you can take the plastic sheet off by pulling on this top part, and it should come off as one clean sheet. This is why it's important to not cut through the extra plastic, or else you'll be picking off small sheets off each individual piece, which trust me is a pain. And that's it. Now you can plate this bad boy however you like. I'll show you what I normally do. I usually use a white plate, and I have a bamboo leaf on this one to add a bit more color. First, I'll place the whole roll right around the middle of the plate, and then I move each piece so that it makes the roll look curved, almost like an S shape. This adds to the caterpillar effect or dragon, whichever one you're making. And then depending on what I have, I like to add some eyes and antennas to it. So to do this, first poke some small holes using a chopstick or toothpick, basically something that's pointy enough to make small holes. 2 for the eyes and 2 for the antennas. Now I have some leftover cucumber that I'm going to use as antennas, but if you have some shredded carrots or kaiware daikon, which are baby daikon radish sprouts, that can work very nice as well. Next, I have some ikura that's perfect for the eyes. Some other things you could use are green peas, tobiko or masago, or even small dollops of spicy mayo. Then, drizzle unagi sauce like this so that the pattern kinda looks like its legs. This is where it can look nice to have a white or light colored plate so you can see the sauce. And lastly, sprinkle some toasted sesame seeds on top and serve it with a side of wasabi, ginger, and soy sauce. That's it! Good job, and let me know how your roll came out in the comments below. Again, you can play around with whatever ingredient you have, so get creative, and as always, have fun with it. And here's some inspiration photos of some different variations that I like to make. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe button if you found it helpful. I'm gonna go enjoy my sushi now. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one. ありがとうございます。